Welcome to Mike's apartment. Today we have Game Master Support, Episode 2. So
Dos, número dos.
we're going to take 3 questions from the internet and, well, answer/discuss them. I am Mike. I am your host. With me is my co-host, Tom. Tom, how are we doing today?
Doing pretty good. Woke up to some snow this morning. It was like almost all gone the other day. It was just a little dusting, and now it's all almost gone again. So
That's
it's
good.
getting warm out. That's I
That's
like
good.
it.
It's always good. All right. So again, yeah, we're going to take 3 questions and we're going to go through them. I'm going to read the first one. All right. When we default to combat, okay, and this one's a little lengthy, but I do sort of want to read it out. Again, we don't identify the person. We don't even identify the social media source that it comes from. We're just going on and reading them. So, all right. So, the first question is about experience points. It says that, and actually it's a little strange. But all right, so when we default to combat as the primary way PCs gain experience, we inevitably turn the game into a slogfest. Why don't we award XP to PCs for actions appropriate to the class? Thieves should get XP for stealing things. Clerics for administering to their congregants, giving sermons, or slaying enemies of their order. Wizards should learn from arcane studies and experiments and the performance of dangerous rituals. Obviously, fighters fight stuff, but they also sharpen their blades, oil their armor, seek out skilled trainers. I'm just saying, I think there are ways you can encourage character-driven actions by rewarding those things instead of just handing out XP for combat or completing adventures. To be clear, I know 5th edition has milestone as an option, but that's not what we're talking about here. Milestone is just as narrow and railroady with focus on a particular plot, story, or mission, and not roleplay. All right, that's the question. There's a lot.
Yeah,
There's a lot to take in there, but
yeah.
go ahead, Tom. Why don't
I
you
mean,
start?
I haven't done the milestone thing really. I know some DMs will, or game masters, whatever, will sometimes just when you get to certain points in the game, then like plot points or something, say okay, go ahead and level up. They don't necessarily give out XP; they just say level up. Excuse me, sorry. Um, I role played with another guy that both of us know, who he would say give out XP like the monster fought a CR. I mean the party fought a CR4 monster and they got the appropriate XP for that. But if you did something cool, you might get bonus XP. So people could level up faster than other people if they asked a good question or tried to do something cool in combat, or creative. But I'm okay with just having like your basic XP and maybe doing something like that, bonus XP for cool shit. Which I think to the point of the question might kind of help encourage people to do things appropriate to their class or whatever. And rogues don't just steal. I mean, they could be dungeon delvers, they could be thieves, they could be, assassins. I mean, whatever. So I think it just depends on, and the same thing with the fighters, you can specialize or whatever. And what was it? The dwarven dervish. Why is that coming to mind? Do you remember that class?
No,
It was a prestige
you
class,
mean
I think, in
I think you mean
5. But
desert dervish. Yeah,
no, I think there was a
dwarven.
dwarven dervish.
Was it?
I can look it up.
We don't have to right now.
Okay, yeah,
But
I'll look it up
that's
later.
beside.
We can talk
Yeah,
later.
but your point
So
is they do more than just the thing in their job, or whatever. This
yeah,
guy is.
so they get XP for killing the monster or completing the quest or whatever, but they also get bonus XP for cool things, being
Yeah.
creative. So
I Let me just answer this. Let me kind of like break it down a little bit and then sort of answer it. I think it depends on the game. It depends on the group. Now, so
mhm.
there's like two, despite the many things that are brought up throughout this, there's two main things. The first one, which I think is like the easiest, right, is where everyone just experience points stay the same. You may not even keep track of them. Everyone levels exactly the same. When someone levels up, they all level up as like a group. What that encourages, it's more group dynamics. There's less competition in the group. Like you don't have players competing with each other trying to score points. And then it's also a lot, bookkeeping wise, bookkeeping wise, it's also a lot easier because you don't have to keep track of everyone's individual experience points, what they did, you know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just easier to keep track of it. You don't have to mess around. You also don't have, players competing with each other, trying to get their characters to be the first one to jump in and do whatever. The other side of it is, have the competition. What that rewards is, you're right. It can lead to characters being more creative. It can lead to them trying to be more like, be more heroic, be more, show off a little bit more. And they're actually doing things because they know they're going to individually be rewarded. I would suggest a mixed system. This is what I would suggest. And here's the best thing. So let's not even talk about Dungeons and Dragons for a second. Let's talk about Chronicles of Darkness. Now, what they have is they have what's called beats. And beats are rewarded for a lot of everything this person mentioned, plus a lot of your own things. You get a beat every time you do something, right? 5 beats equals 1 experience point. It's obviously not on par with Dungeons and Dragons, but you get 1. Now you can do group beats though too. Here's the other thing. Every time a player gets a beat, it goes into the bowl or whatever. It goes into the pool of points, right? So, and then at the end of the game, they divide that number by 5 because that's how it works in their game. And then everyone gets an equal amount. I think that would work out a little bit better because here's the thing. I want the players to be encouraging of each other without being competitive. Like, I don't want someone I'm going to get 5 levels higher than everyone else in this group because I'm going to jump in and do whatever, do whatever it takes to just get whatever. It's like, but you don't really, I think that atmosphere is wrong also. So I would say every time someone succeeds and gets a whatever, whatever they're achieving, whatever you want to call it, experience points, a beat, a level, whatever, throw it all into like a group thing, and then at the end of the game, divide it by the number of players and give it to everyone, because because even the people who are like silent and not maybe directly contributing, they are still contributing by just being there, right? Because they're still doing stuff. So that would be I will just say to this person, your last point though, this last point about a milestone being narrow and railroady, I disagree. I think it's a very good method for the dungeon master / game master to allow focus on the game, because so often players will go so off the ranch, they'll go off the reservation, that you need to do milestone stuff because they're not doing, I'm not saying you're trying to, and it's all about here's another thing. It's all about how you present it, right? It's how you present it. It's the illusion of control that is more important than actual control in a game. We're not playing a video game here. We're playing a role-playing game, right? This isn't a video game. You don't get to go wherever you want, have all these options, do whatever. No, it's a role-playing game. But however, you don't want it to feel like a railroad. You want it to feel like it's an endless control anywhere. So all good DMs and GMs know it's the illusion of control. It doesn't matter which path down the road they go. They're going to encounter the same stuff anyways, but only you know that. They don't know that. They feel like it's, again, so the illusion of control is more important than the actual control in the game. And that's my 2 cents. All right, let's move on. Next question. This one's going to be this is a softball question. What is everyone's favorite Wizards of the Coast setting? Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I don't know if technically have a favorite. I think the one I played the most in is Faerun. But
Which is
if you
Forgotten
get a good
Realms. Yeah, Forgotten
Forgotten
Realms.
Realms,
Yep.
yeah, okay, for Forgotten Realms. But excuse me, Ravenloft. If you can get a good dungeon master, I think Ravenloft has a lot of potential because the environment changes depending on whose domain you're in, and there's certain effects and stuff like that, and sometimes your intentions can create magical things happening. I think in one game there was a character that my character was close to that died in combat or something, and he made a little doll or maybe he made the doll for somebody else to help like them with their emotions or response, whatever. And the doll animated became like a certain type of like doll golem that would protect that person. So my character was like a fighter or something, not or whatever. It wasn't magical. They had no magical abilities, but his
Mm-hmm.
intentions, being what they were, animated and created a protector in that setting. So that was fun. Sometimes you can also find what do they call those little like
Modules.
pre-prepared
Modules.
modules?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Some of those can be fun to go through, especially if you're not familiar with, say, like Ravenloft or something. But
Yep.
anyways, so I think Forgotten Realms is ouch the one I had the most experience with. But I kind of like Ravenloft as well.
Yeah, I'd say my favorite is Ravenloft, to be clear. Yeah, there's no competition in my mind. Ravenloft is my favorite. But beneath that, I have several other ones. As you mentioned, Forgotten Realms is really cool. I mean, and everyone, popularized by Baldur's Gate 3, which is in Forgotten Realms. You know,
Hmm.
Forgotten Realms is, yeah, that's a really cool setting. I like it quite a bit. I've played many a video game. Like, you could also play Neverwinter Nights, which are in Forgotten Realms.
Oh, that was a great game.
God, Icewind Dale is also in
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms. Yeah, there's a lot of cool, settings and stuff like that for
Middle
it.
Earth is in Forgotten Realms.
Middle Earth. I don't know about that one. But I will say, yeah, other ones. I mean, Greyhawk is a cool. Greyhawk was Dungeons and Dragons 3.5's default setting. I think Forgotten Realms is fifth edition's default setting, while Greyhawk was 3.5 default setting, but it didn't get followed up on very much. Other ones I like. Okay, from second edition, Dark Sun.
Okay.
No doubt, I would love another Dark Sun campaign. That one's a hard one to play, but yeah, Dark Sun is really cool. God, the one where they're in Spelljammer. Spelljammer is pretty cool. That's the one they're like in space and you have a ship, but there's also magic
Okay,
and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Back when I was meeting every other weekend with friends live during COVID, or shortly after or whatever, we when we started getting back together in person, they were running a Spelljammer game. That was a whole lot of fun.
yeah, Spelljammer's
Um,
awesome. Yeah. Oh, God, what else? Oh, Dragonlance. Before we forget, Dragonlance. Dragonlance, incredible setting, tons of material. They have like
yeah, yeah,
300 novels written about it. I
yeah.
mean, Dragonlance is a pretty cool setting.
Wheel of
Uh,
Time. It,
Robert
I've only had
Jordan's,
one.
yeah, Robert
I
Jordan
only
setting,
had
yeah.
one. I think one experience with that where we were actually playing a. I think the game started in Faerun or whatever, Forgotten Realms, and then we went through a portal into the Wheel of Time series
Wow.
or world, and magic worked completely different, of course, there. and it was fun to see how we could get ourselves fucked up by trying to rely on our abilities the way we were familiar with them and then working completely different. Like one of our guys could turn invisible, and if I remember correctly, it wasn't exactly invisible. It was more like like the predator's cloak.
Oh,
How when they move, you can kind of see them if you're looking right at them, right? You can see the outline or whatever. So that's kind of how I got the impression of his invisibility working, and he was caught. So
more like a chameleon type effect.
yeah, he
Yeah,
had to run away from that
sure.
situation. That was a fun game.
Yeah, I can't think
But
of many other settings. Oh, Planescape. Planescape was one. That was God. There was that video game. It was what was it called? Just Torment. That was a
oh,
cool video game. It was second edition, so it was AD&D, like second edition rules. I think the game
mhm.
came out in the '90s or something. But Planescape is a pretty cool setting. Well, a Wizards of the Coast setting also. Um,
Shadowrun, Cyberpunk. I mean, and then
well,
there's other like TV show type games like Farscape,
yeah, you could.
Stargate,
They have a lot
stuff.
of settings like outside of yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, no, oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Firefly. That was made
oh, they
by
had. Oh,
um
that's right. They had Firefly. I forgot
it
about
was
that.
what's her so the one of the creators of Dragonlance actually, Margaret Weiss. She made the Firefly rules and set well, so
Hmm.
it was adaptable into what whatever was
Hmm.
being played. But all right, I
I'm
mean,
curious. I'm curious
oh
what everybody else thinks about what realm or whatever they a system they would like
yeah, knock
to.
that down. Yeah, put it in the just put it in the comments. Yeah, if you tell us what setting you like. This is a good question. I mean, it's a softball question, but we appreciate that still. All right, our third and final question. This one this one is deceptively easy to answer. I would say it's also it's also a difficult one.
It hits home for us.
Yeah, I would get, but however, that said, I would say, well, let me just say the question before we go into that. But I would say a lot of groups probably deal with this, and so I'll read it and I'll say a brief thing. But okay, and this person must be from the South in the United States because they even type like this. It's how do y'all deal with a player that keep interrupting y'all speech throughout the game? And I would just say, I think players talking over each other probably is somewhat normal, but go ahead, Tom. I want to hear what you have to say, Tom.
Um, well, I know the I played under a DM where I was really bad at this when I first started interrupting and derailing the games with jokes. But and so he at one point like in, incorporated rule. I wasn't the only one that did it. So the rule was, if you kept on like stalling the game with unnecessary shit, a random encounter might happen that could end up hurting the group. So that I mean that was fine. I think the other night when we had a game we were all talking over each other at a few points, but our group is like that though, where we just kind of keep talking. And well, part of the problem too is like we're meeting virtually on Discord. I think it's easier to manage the interruptions when you're in person than virtually. But I don't know how would I handle it. I might if it's getting to a point where it's derailing the game. Well, there's that one game where I just made a ruling when the people were arguing about the rules with that lawyer guy. Another way you could approach it is talk to the person out of game. Maybe say, send him if you're meeting virtually, maybe send him a text or something and just say, hey, I appreciate your humor or whatever, but it's getting to the point where it's making it hard for people to play the game. people aren't having as much fun as they could be or they want to or whatever. That would if I made a comment like that, that wouldn't just be me saying something. I probably would have already talked to other people to see how they feel. And if people really don't give a shit and they're still having fun, even though we got one thing done in 3 hours, you know, it might be frustrating for me, uh, but uh, but if people are having fun, that's the point of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one thing that you got to also keep in mind when dealing with that kind of stuff, interruptions and stuff. But I'm maybe not as strict as some DMs, but
So, okay, I'll hop right in and say what I think. I think I think this is what I'll just say. I think with Dungeons and Dragons or any role playing game really, you're gonna attract certain types of personalities, right?
hmm
And different people come to the game for different reasons. The talking over each other thing is usually when you have well, I won't say strong personalities, but some very vocal personalities that are looking for different things. And actually, this could even tie back to our first question about experience points, which is if it's competitive, right? They're going to compete to be the ones who want to be the face of the party. They want to talk to the NPCs first. And why would they want to do that? Well, if you're playing in a competitive experience points environment, they want the XP. I mean, there's no other way around it. They want those experience points, and that's why they're trying to talk to every NPC first because they want to be creative. They want to get to the whatever. Now that's only one side of it. Let's say you're not running a game like that. Why else would they want to compete? Well, some people like the sound of their own voices, right? They want their they want to pontificate. They want to sit there, give off the speech, whatever, right? Like like that's what they want to do. Other players, God, other players, maybe they're very quiet in real life, right? Like maybe like in their real lives, they're always quiet, they never say anything, and it bottles up. It's all bottled up inside of them. And then suddenly, oh my God, we're playing a role playing game. There are no consequences. Well, not no consequences, but, there's in game consequences, but there's no real life consequences. I can say whatever I want. I'm free. I'm free. Right? Like I can say
right.
anything here, and I'm gonna say it. And or is the other thing. Let's say because people, there's the other thing is players can play off of each other, right? Like let's say
hmm
you have this ego centric like character who's always mouthing off. Well, this is your chance to, well, you know, figuratively speaking, not literally. You could this is your chance to smack him around the face and say something back, right? Like this person's always talking. Smack him off and say you know what I mean? Like this is your opportunity to, cuz that's the thing about role playing, right? It's a fictional world. You could be anyone, you could do anything. There are consequences, but they're in-game consequences, not real life consequences. So really, so there's lots of reasons why people do that. Now, like how does a dungeon master reign? Like, I gave a lot of like reasons, but I didn't really give any solutions. I think as you said, if the issue seems to be a single player, yeah, definitely talk to that one player, take them aside. What if it's like just two players who keep, again, you could talk to the two of them at the same time or take them away. It kind of depends on what's going on and what you think is going to be more effective. You could take the two of them either together and talk, or you could separately talk to each one of them about it. What if it's the whole group? What if everyone is. In that case, you kind of have to make a decision on what kind of game you're playing. Maybe you should just allow it because this is how people are venting. This is how they're getting whatever, off their chests. This is what they're saying. Maybe just go with it if it's okay. I mean, maybe that's just part of the fun. I mean, it really depends on the group and the situation and like what's happening. But if a dungeon master really feels like they're not getting their game across, then yeah, you're gonna have to, you know, I would just say, I guess the biggest thing is this: open communication is the best. Always talk to people. Just be honest with them. Just say, hey, let's tone down some of this, or hey, tell me why. Maybe it's not even like tone it down. Maybe it's just like help me understand where you're coming from. Like why in the games are you repeatedly, whatever the case. You know what I mean though, Tom? Like talk to people. Figure out what's going on. You know, it's a game. Have fun. Everyone, if people are having fun, then maybe there is no issue. But if people are saying to you, or if as the game master yourself you're not having fun, then there's a problem. And but if everyone's having fun, I mean, I don't know. I would just say go with it. Do you have any other thoughts on that, Tom, or anything else you wanna?
I mean, there's always more to say, but I mean, I think the point is let's have fun, and if people interrupting is causing an issue, then address it as might feel appropriate for that specific situation.
Yeah.
So, which I guess the question is, how do you? But we already kind of discussed some of the options. So,
So yeah. So maybe be more. Okay. So here's our thing. If you guys have any questions, throw them in the comments, or
mhm,
feel free to message us directly on whatever. I mean, you could easily find you'll find our Facebook group. We actually have
mhm,
we have a we have the Tavern Seat Facebook group. We have the Game Master Support Facebook group. We have other ways we have a Reddit. I mean, there are lots of ways to contact us. So you know what? Just throw your question out there. We would love to do it. Also, let us know if you want to be identified or not, because we don't want to, flag someone out, especially if like your players are part of it. So they may, we don't want to like put anyone out like that. But put what you want. Subscribe, like, all those things for this. But yeah, we would love to hear from you.
mhm.
And anything else, any other questions, we'd love to. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep look.
Keep on keeping on.
I will just keep looking across the internet for questions. All right. Anything else, Tom? Or we?
No, have a good one, everyone. Thanks for
Yep.
watching.
Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.